Andy over. Hey, Andy, Jamie, what happened this Thursday? What's going on?
Hey, Scott. Well, it kind of got ugly there for a while if you're bullish in the marketplace, but we'll talk about that here in a minute. Hi, Jamie. How are you?
Andy, what is happening over there? Yeah, we got a little market got a little soft towards the
Yeah,
end
it
of the
did.
day there, and I remember you volume's light, but it didn't really see excursion anyway.
Yeah, and I think before we really started to drop out of bed, I noticed a couple of the big boys, Amazon and Apple, even when the market was up and close to highs, we're not playing ball. So a lot of
Yep.
times, yeah, those are the kind of stocks that can drag around a market. So always good to keep your eye. Maybe if you just have a top list up with the five big boys in the Nasdaq, it can be helpful sometimes. All right. Well, thanks everybody. This is the Trading Studio. Thanks for joining us today. My name's Andy, and that's Jamie. And Scott is kind of manning the helm there as far as all the technical stuff goes, and he'll be back on later on to offer you guys a discount. So don't leave too early. But before we get on, let's dive into the disclaimer just to cover some legal things here. We are a content publisher. What we're doing today is basically educational. Okay, we're not here to get you to invest in any stocks, so that's not our job. If you are seeking investment opportunities, you might want to seek out somebody who is licensed. That would be a stockbroker or an RIA. All right, so let's get that out of the way, and it is out of the way. And let's move on and talk a little bit about our 5-star support, education, and training here at Trade. It all starts in the traders room. Okay, a lot of people are in that room. 500 plus pop up. Okay. Yeah, it looks like I had a little internet glitch there. Hopefully talking about the traders room won't happen again. So anyway, I was talking. Okay, now I'm hearing some feedback here. Jamie, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you dropped out there
Okay.
for a moment.
All right, so talking about the traders room, it's a great place for everybody. It's free for everyone. You do not have to have a TI subscription. That's a Trade Idea subscription to join. And also we have webinars every Monday through Thursday in the same time slot. That's 5 Eastern time. And it's going to be a combination most of the time of myself, Jamie, or Steve, paired up in twos. But on Wednesday's a good place to come if you want a quick demo of things that are coming down the pike, if you will. And also that's our CEO, Dan Merkin, and our CTO, Brad Williams. So it's a great place to come for Q&A and to see new bells and whistles coming around the corner. All right, and let's not forget our support webinar every day, 12 Eastern time, Monday through Friday. Guys, we get a great crowd in there, but I really believe more people should take advantage of this. And the reason I know that they should is because we get people coming into our chat online all the time and getting bombarded on our email of people asking questions. And many of those questions, most of them actually are just better served up with a visual. And that's what's great about the support webinar. We do a go-to meeting just like you're, or go-to webinar just like you're looking at here, but anyway, you do have a visual on a live stream, and you have a questions panel, so we can demonstrate for you what your, the question, and anything we have to do pertaining to your question. You can see what we're doing versus just answering you in text. It's much easier when you have a visual. All right, a little bit about our paper trader. If you're not aware of this, we do have a free paper trader. All you have to do, well, you do have to have a subscription to Trade Ideas, but other than that, that's it. You do not need, no broker connection is required. You do not need to fund an account. Okay, you use a really cool interface called Brokerage Plus, and it's great. You can sit there and auto trade your strategies if you want to. If you have premium, you can auto trade Holly. There's just so much you can do with this cool little interface, and if you haven't done it, check it out, because especially new traders, you need to paper trade before you get started. All right, let's move on to our agenda for today. Market recap. I'm going to handle that, and then I'm going to turn it over to Jamie, and he is going to look at a couple of Holly trades today. There were a few good ones in there, so he'll break that down for us. Earnings Watcher, I was going to revisit that. I may take a quick look at it, and the reason I say it's just such a a sloppy market, but and mostly to the downside. So if you're looking for any continuation up moves, they were hard to find, because it was going basically a counter trend to the overall market if it was going up. So anyway, I'll hit on it real quick just to let you guys, just to kind of rehash what I said last week. And then we're going to build a simple top list, okay, looking for strong stocks that, and it's kind of similar to stuff we've done in the past, but in most of these cases, we do it with an A window and a stock hitting like a 15-minute low. We're just going to put together a top list where we can find strong stocks that may be hugging their 10-period moving average or at highs a day. So it's just a kind of a way to find opportunity. And we'll build that together because it's always constructive when we do that for you, when you get to see how you can go in and use all the filters and build a nice little top list. All right, let's back out of this. Let's pull up the old SPY charts. Oh, look at there, I grabbed it on the first grab. All right, nice chart there today. Whoa. I'm not sure why, that must have been on one of my alerts to have it up, but I'll have to go back and see if I can find that. All right, here is the SPY. Let's real quickly pull up this one as well. We'll give us a little intraday there to look at to see what you were looking at today. Well, we came in today, basically gapped pretty much. I mean, really didn't gap. We pretty much opened right where we closed and tickled this 3-day high right here, and then kind of went sideways. And this is what I was talking about. Let's take a look at the time right here. This time was 10:45 my time. That's Central. And let's pull up Amazon. And you can see there. A total different story. Now, when you see this, here's 10:45. Amazon was down already quite a bit. And I'm hoping not lose my internet again. There we go. Same thing. Just opened up and was ugly right off the get-go, the first 3 hours of the day. When you start seeing some of the big boys do this, breaking some moving average and selling off, be aware. I know there's strong sectors out there. I know the OIH is held up okay, but in most cases, when you get these big Goliaths that hold a huge percentage of the NASDAQ composite, when they start getting hit, in most cases, I'd say 90% of the 95% of the time, it's going to drag down the markets, even the SPYs. So anyway, just kind of always keep an eye on those if you can, even if you have to have a little top list up. Well, let's get back to the market and just see what kind of damage was done. First, I want to pull up the Qs because that's where the real weakness was today. And you can see there, we basically broke through about a 5-day low. We did take out this low at one point. Definitely broke through the 10-period moving average, accelerated lower, came down, look exactly where we bounced right there on the 20-period after we took out this low right here. So barely took out that low. This low held. So key level right here, you can see in the Qs, we haven't spent any time below this 20-period moving average in 1, 2, 3, 4 months. All right. So key level we want to hold here if you're bullish, okay, in the Qs. All right. Intel came out after earnings, after market today with earnings, and they getting hit pretty good so far. I think the Qs are holding up. I mean, Intel doesn't have that big of a weighting. But anyway, that could spill over into some of the big semis, and we got to watch out for tomorrow because if we close below this 20 period in the Qs, it's going to be, like I said, 4 months. And if that happens, you know, we could see some pain over the next few days. Maybe we come down to this level right here. Would be an area I'd want to watch for a bounce. If that doesn't hold, we're probably looking at the 50 period moving average as our next level of possible resistance. Okay, so that's a key level right there. SPY's not going to look as bad. Now, it didn't have the run the Qs did over the last few months, okay? It's been kind of more of a grind in the SPY's there. So it held. It bounced off the 10 period moving average. And a little more sloppy in the SPY's. You know, we really can't look at these moving averages because we've been back, forth, up, around, down, sideways, all over these moving averages. So, you know, to me, there's no true direction as far as the moving averages go. Obviously, we're still in an uptrend. You got price direction moving from lower left to upper right. But below that 10 period, it may also want to visit the 20 period. So I think tomorrow's a key day. It is a Friday. We'll see what happens. Sometimes people get nervous, but weakness in the Q. Jamie, can you hear me now?
Yeah, you keep dropping in and out there for probably the past
man.
30 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully maybe you take it over and I can see. I mean, obviously I'm not gonna. It's just the internet for some reason. Hadn't done this in a long time, so let's knock on wood and hopefully I can get through it.
Yeah, no worries. You got a storm rolling through there or anything?
No, not at all. I don't know what it is. It's just probably a little glitch we're having. Maybe it's too much demand or something. I don't know, but
Yeah, mine's been doing it from time to time too, and it's been smooth sailing for a while, but who knows? Who knows? Okay, would you like me to go ahead and take it? Talk about a few
go
of
ahead
these
and take
Holly
it. Talk
trades?
about the
Okay.
Holly.
All right, let me grab the screen here. Okay, hopefully you have eyes on my desktop now. And what we're going to talk about, there's 2 or 3 trades on here that are worth paying attention to here. Let's just take the Guiltless right off the bat, or excuse me, not Guiltless. I want to say Guiltless Gourmet. Chart Industries, GTLS. Not a bad little trade from Holly. Now, what we're going to be focusing on here is the difference in conservative and moderate profit. And we can see here under conservative, based on risking $100 per trade, Holly booked a $42 profit, was only in the trade, let's see, about 18 minutes here. Entry time 8:39 Central Standard Time, 8:58. So didn't spend a whole lot of time in the trade, and we can also see up here in the shaded area, getting out somewhere in this area here. Why did she get out? Well, that was the profit save. Probably a little pullback within that 15-minute bar as soon as the stock kind of pauses a little bit. These are like modified trailing stops. They can trigger pretty easily, and of course we always say it's not the exits that Holly is the best at, but the entries. So this is a great entry. Holly pulling the plug a little bit early, and we can see here between 42 and 185, we got another 140 bucks there. So not quite a 5x difference, but a little over 4, we call it 4.5 between 42 and 185. So when we're playing this game in real time, we see Holly make the exit in the profit save mode. We just simply gauge the stock and go, okay, has it moved up? How do we feel about it? How's it looking on the chart? In my opinion, this is one that you probably, would have been inclined to take a little bit more risk on because the trade is working. Holly's getting out on a profit save, and we can see her time spent in the trade in this little shaded area up here. All right. All we had to do was make the decision to stay in it. And of course, it didn't make it easy, especially if we were trying to use a break-even stop. A lot of the times, once we're well above this line, we can stay in it for a break-even. Not today. Market was a little shifty, of course. Most of the action was to the downside, and GTLS finished up, one of the few stocks that finished up on the session today. But the bottom line is this: we could have taken a little bit more risk, stayed in the trade, and it would have paid off. Of course, it's not always so easy to do this in the moment, especially when you're new to this process. So we can always revert back to the 50-50 methodology. We see Holly getting out, we can go ahead and book half the profit, or if you're in 100 shares, peel out of 50 with Holly in conservative mode. Keep your original stop loss, break even what it got you out on that second lot today. But the good news is, let's say you did take half with Holly and keep the other half for a break even. You would have got stopped out, but you would have made money on the first lot. If you would have stuck to your original stop loss, you would have made more money in the second lot, and arriving somewhere at an average in between these two figures that you see here. So the goal is just to extract some of that spread. Sometimes you're going to get most of it. Every once in a while you might get all of it. But the goal is just to size the chart up and take a little bit more risk and stay in it. And GTLS was a good example of playing that conservative profit and moderate profit spread today. Now, the next one that we're going to talk about is this little guy down here, missed, which ended up being a stop out. Now we can see the action missed at a nice gap up today. And looky here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. For about 2 hours, it didn't really do anything. Just kind of meandering along here, these wicky gyrations up and back down again, but we can see the candle bodies here. And Holly comes in right here and says, you know what? This might be a good time to buy a little bit. So that's what she does, only to be stopped out, not that too far down the road. Let's see there, 10:27. Yeah, a big 11-minute hold time if we look at the entry and the exit time over here. So a pretty quick stop out. However, I always pay attention not only to other conservative exit reasons, but a stop out a lot of the times can point us to a good trade around, depending on what the stock does around the stop area. Now, let me just clear this out real quick, because check out what the stock did right at the stop area. If it would have blown through it and settled out somewhere down here, I would have paid no mind to it. But anytime you see a stop out occur, and you see the action kind of sticking right around that level, a lot of the times these stop areas can act as decent pivot points. Now, I'm not saying to jump into it immediately. We have to give it a little bit of time so that we have something to observe. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, we had about 2 hours that we could have watched this thing to see how it reacted. And it towed the line pretty well around that stop area. Once again, even here, if it would have cycled down here or came down here, I would have paid it no mind. But it held that line pretty well. And then check out what happens right about here. We reclaim that 10-period moving average. We're still slightly below the entry level right here. So this presented a pretty good opportunity. All we had to do is be patient and wait. Could have got a better price than the AI and then participated in the up move, okay? Timing is everything. Timing was just a little bit off back here, got the stop out, a little consolidation, a little hemming and hawing around that pivot area or the stop area, which kind of acted as a pivot area here. Nice tight bars, reclaiming that 10 period, gives us an opportunity to get a better price than the AI and participate in the move. As Steve might say, the second mouse got the cheese on this one. It's just common practice that we get stopped out of a lot of things, but that doesn't mean that we can't make a re-entry when the timing was just a little bit off. And this thing finished at the close with a nice little return here, by far and away the biggest percentage gainer of the day. So we just keep that in mind. Just because you see something get stopped out on Holly, see what it does around that stop area. If it blows right through it, well, then just forget about it. But if it starts hugging that stop area and you start to see these tightening bars and maybe a reclaiming of the 10-period moving average, that can also be a very good entry in the form of a trade around. Now, before I give it back to you, Andy, I will just talk about QFIN real quick too, because even though it wasn't a huge winner, I mean, it turned out a pretty good percentage gain in conservative and moderate, a little over 5%, which, hey, that's nothing to sneeze at. I'll take that all day, every day. Now, risking $100, we weren't just crushing it on a dollar basis here. There was no spread to be had here. But this one was just such a well-behaved stock, right? We get the signal from Holly right here after about, clearly there is a seller in the first 30 minutes. And then we get a little 45 minutes of consolidation here before Holly calls it. So we get the statistical weight on our side right here at the blue arrow, and then plays out perfectly for another 30 minutes or so. We get this consolidation, and on a day like this, you know, when we're seeing this type of stuff occur, you know, I like to mark up the candle bodies. You know, if you're strictly a purist, you'd have to mark it up right here. But using the candle bodies today, what that did is present us with an opportunity to really leverage the trade and come in here as it just broke this range to the downside. Oops, where'd my pointer go? There we go. I'll just put a little arrow right here. As soon as those candle bodies were broken, this would have been a great time to tack on a little bit more shares, and we could have enjoyed this little down move here before taking a bounce back up, not getting quite back up to the entry level before finishing lower on the day. So QFIN, once again, nice percentage gain, not that big on the monetary side, but it's all about your risk tolerance, but giving us a nice opportunity to press that trade on a secondary pattern emerging, other than the statistical probability that we were gifted from Holly right off the bat. And that's about all I got today for Holly, Andy.
All right, shoot it back to me, and hopefully my internet will hold up.
And we'll keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah, it's weird because I haven't had an issue in weeks, so we'll see what happens here. But I am going to bypass. I want to make sure I get this. I want to build an alert together and try to get this one in before it does get to glitching. And by the way, Jamie, just in case I do drop or something, I sent you over the cloud link that you can just kind of go over the config with them, and you can kind of make it out to see what I'm doing. But I think it's so far it seems like it's getting better, so let's keep our fingers crossed.
Oh, I got you. You sent it over Slack. 10-4.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, just in case. All right. So guys, what I want to do is we talk about you know, some people make it more complicated than what it is when you're looking for opportunity. So what I want to do today is just build a simple top list so we can use the power of columns. All right, we don't need to build a lot of times all these elaborate configurations where you're just trying to get all the stars to line up and find that perfect trade. A lot of times it's just as easy, especially in the summertime when the market gets kind of shaky, and just to build a simple top list and just kind of look for opportunities on your own. So we're gonna do that right now together, and it's always a good practice for especially the new people. So to remember, guys, we can launch anything we have from our new tab. Okay, you can pull up a channel bar and just immediately go into any channels and get alerts right away. Or if you want to build your own window, you can start either doing a window, a top list, or a multi-strategy. And it looks like my Slack is dropping, so I hope you can still hear me. Okay.
Yeah, you're still good, Andy.
Okay, good. I just saw my Slack glitch over there. Maybe that's something that's causing a problem. But all right. So we're going to pull up a top list here, and we're going to start from scratch. We're going to double click here, and we're going to start from scratch, and we're just going to build our own window. So if we are looking for strong stocks, you know, there's a few things we can do. I'm going to show you what I consider to be the easiest. First thing I want to do is build my parameters. The basic parameters I have in pretty much every one of my windows is price. I usually want like stocks over $5. You can take this and change it to $1, whatever you want to, but I'm gonna, you know what, let's get a little more. Let's put $3 today. Since it was kind of an ugly day to the downside, maybe we get a little more stocks to appear in this window. Average daily volume, I'm looking for stocks that do at least about 500,000 shares a day on average. And I always use the change for the close. If I'm looking for strong stocks, I want them to be up on the day. If I'm looking for weak stocks, I want them to be down on the day, or to short stocks, I should say. All right, in this case, strong stocks, let's identify it. This can be subjective as well. For some people, 2% may be strong. For some people, 10%. They want to see it higher. I'm just going to keep it simple and do a 3%. It's got to be up 3% on the day. And we want this to be, let's go I want it at least above its 10-period moving average on the 15-minute chart. That is what we like to call, and today trader Steve and I would always use that as the fast line, the momentum line. Okay, if it holds that 10-period moving average, someone's going to type in 10 SMA, and we are going to use the 15-period, add filter, and we are going to just put a 0 right here in the minimum. In other words, we don't want anything that's broken through its 10-period moving average, its fast line on the intraday chart. And once I start showing you some of these stocks, it'll become more clear. All right, we're going to put in a little EPS hack, earnings per share hack. This is going to eliminate all the ETFs just by putting 0.01 in the min. In the max, we're going to put negative 0.01. And basically all that's doing is telling the algorithm we don't want to see anything come through our window unless it reports earnings. Easy way to just do this without going into symbol lists and trying to exclude stuff. You just put in this little hack like that. All right, anything else we want to add to this? I think we just about got it. Let's do some relative volume. All right, and I don't think we need real strong volume. You know, I mean, strong volume is great, but you know, a lot of times I've seen stocks just go up all day on about 1.5, you know, relative volume. So that's the minimum I'm going to use. Basically, it's a ratio relative volume. So if it's 2 to 1, that means it's doing twice as much volume as it normally does at any given time of day. So in this case, I'm just going to do 1.5, so 50% greater than its normal volume at any given time of day. All right, the important thing is that with top list is columns can be so valuable because you can sort by any column. So let's add some columns in here. All right, because in the top list, when you first pull it up, it's just going to have symbol over there. We're going to add price. We want to add change from close. I want relative volume. I want to see how much volume it's doing. I want to know it's going to be, we know it has to be above this line, this change from 10-period SMA on the 15-minute. I want to see how far it is above. All right, and let's see if there's anything else I want to see. Position and range. Yeah, I definitely want to see position and range because we're going to use that to sort. And why not just go ahead and throw a position in lifetime range so we can see if it's like at all-time highs. All right, this is good enough. Let's fire it off and let's name this first. Go to summary and we're going to call this opportunity stalker. All right. Fire away. Here we go. Let's make this a little bit bigger, make some of these columns bigger. Just get them so we can see them a little bit. And that's good enough. All right, so any stock that comes in here, you know, you're going to be able to see that obviously it's got to meet our parameters. So it's change from the close. We know if I sort by change from the close, everything's going to be above 3%, in which it is. Okay. Now we could sort if we wanted to by change from the close. All right. Let's say you want to, and these are this can be interactive throughout the day. Okay, when you're watching the market and you're looking through this, you can do change from the close, or maybe you want to do position and range. Do you want to find those stocks that are near highs? Look at this. That'd been a nice one to catch today. Nice trading all day long. And you can see this one probably would have been a good one from the get-go too. So early in the morning, you would have seen this one, like say at 9 o'clock this morning. You would have seen it in here, and you would have had a nice little move if you're sorting by position and range. All right, well, let's take a look at a few more. Though first, see what kind of opportunity was out there today. Okay, it's glitching again. I think I keep it
You
keeps
popped
hanging
out,
on
but
though.
you came back pretty
Can you hear me,
quick.
Jamie?
Yeah. I can.
Okay, okay. Let's see if I can see the bandwidth over in my upper left corner there, the milliseconds. Yeah. All right. So looking for a little more opportunity. This was a nice one all day long, pretty much. Although this one did gap down and then went positive. That would have been a nice little trade there once it went positive. Another strong one. So something as simple as this, guys, you can see can be very good. Hershey all day long, gap above its 200-day moving average and just kind of floated. And there's the momentum line I'm talking about. See, as long as it was above this 10-period SMA on the 15-minute chart, it would have been appearing in this window. And of course, it would have been because it never went below it. All right. One other thing. Let's say you don't want to be looking for highs. You don't want to buy highs. You want to find stocks that are pulling back. Well, there's no alert in here to alert us that the stock is pulling back. But what you could do is sort by, since we know it cannot be below zero, right? In other words, they won't appear on here unless they're above their 10-period moving average. All we have to do is come in here, double click a couple of times, get these stocks that are around zero. We know now they're just above their 10-period moving average. Now, a lot of these on the close here, it's not going to show us anything, but let's go back in time. Maybe let's go back to about 9 o'clock and see if there's any opportunity there. I'm going to go to historical date, put it on 9 a.m. That's 30 minutes after the open my time. I'm on Central. Hit OK, and this is what it would have looked like at that time. All right, so now, guys, we have to keep in mind what the market did today, okay? It sold off pretty hard. So a lot of these aren't going to work, of course, but we can definitely see stocks. JKS, for example, went up, pulled back, and there's, around 9 o'clock, I guess. No, that was, oh, wait, it moved on me. Here, hold on. How can I get zeros up there? I guess everything was above. There wasn't anything really touching. Let's see if we can get a better example. Let's go back. Let's go to 9:30. That's weird to not have anything that, touching its 10-period moving average when you have that many stocks in there. Once again.
Yeah, no zero values.
All of them above. All right.
No.
We're almost through it, Jamie.
Yeah, that one wasn't so bad. It was maybe 10 seconds, 15 seconds, little
Okay.
drop out there.
All right, let's move this to 10 o'clock. I'd like to get something touching its 10 period here. There we go. We got a couple here. FE, this would have been right around in here. 9:45, 10 o'clock. So it was probably just above it at that time. There's a nice example. Now, once again, guys, remember what the market did today. Okay, there were sellers in the market. Okay, so a lot of these things are not going to catch them and bounce. Now, if we would have had a strong bull market, maybe we would have seen something different. Some of these ones, there's a great example of one catching. Okay, there's some opportunity brought to your attention at 10 o'clock, right at it, or just above its 10-period moving average, and look what happened. Boom, nice little bounce there. So this can be a great little tool to find opportunity, to find strong stocks without having to use an alert where it's coming down, a new 5-minute low, a new 15-minute low. You could just have this up, and it's going to refresh for you every 30 seconds. And then you can just sit there and, go through here if you're inclined to buy highs. Let's take a look at 10 o'clock this morning. Look at all these stocks that were close to highs. Of course, a lot of them are going to be falling out of bed, but you can see a little continuation there. Definitely that one all day long. This one at 10 o'clock, some more on that one. So the thing about it is, guys, you don't want to make this VPOP, a great little trader there. You don't want to make it more difficult than what it is. And a lot of times just having something real simple to scan for stocks that are strong on the day. We know they're strong on the day, and we know they're above their 10-period moving average, okay? Once they break, you saw a lot of those things, and once they broke that 10-period moving average, they fell out of bed pretty hard. But once again, a lot of that was because of the market. There was a lot of opportunity here today, I think. I mean, on a normal day, if you're using just something as simple as this right here. And let me go ahead and share it before I crap out here. All right, I'm going to drop it into the chat window of the GoToWebinar interface. Opportunity Stalker. All right, there we go. At least I got that in for you. All right, Jamie, any questions that somebody that may have been asking about something like this?
I'm answering one. I'm not sure what window Michael was referring to there. If you see Michael
webinar, Michael,
about he had different price. He didn't have the same. Is showing different prices.
Cloud link that I dropped in there, and because you shouldn't be now. Yeah, because remember, I don't know if you're on, but when you grab it, it should adjust to your local time. Okay, so when I'm giving out the times, you should be plugging in. You know, when I go back to my history, you should be plugging in whatever time that would correlate to the same time. Yes, Debbie. Debbie says really helpful to use change from 10 SMA as a column. Yes, it can be really helpful. And when you just have something simple as this, and you know, obviously some of these stocks are just well above it. But even at the close today, let's see how many of these go to live during market hours. Look with all our weakness today. You know, look how many of these. About half of them finished real close to the highs of the day. So, and these are stocks that were pretty much in here all day long. So if you are opposed to shorting, like in a market like this, and you're going to want to go long, you probably want to stick with the ones that are strong, whether they have earnings. And really, I didn't do this, but it may be a good idea to go ahead and add a earnings column, earnings date column. And the way you do that, I'm not going to reload this cloud link. I'll just show you what to do. You just want to go to search, and you want to put in earnings, date, and show column. That way you can see if they had earnings, like this TCBI down here, if you're just quickly looking over here. So you might want to do that. You'll say, oh, this is an earnings play as well. And you can see that was strong all day long. So I'm not going to share this. I'd lose my internet altogether. I'm fortunate. I think I made it through here. That's really weird. I hadn't had an issue for forever, and then today. But it seems like it's trying to clear up. Jamie, do you have anything you want to add? Let's see. Make sure I cover all the questions.
No, you know, David popped in a last minute question there. Can you set an alert for pattern sequences? And the answer is yes, assuming you find the right filter and alert combination for the pattern that you're setting out to find there.
Mm-hmm.
Assuming I'm understanding the question there.
Yeah, I don't. Sequences may be a tricky word, but if you go to an A window, okay, and you go to search, there's a drop down in category where we do have geometric patterns. So we have a few to choose from there. you know, I kind of like to create my own stuff with just position and range filters and things like that. And with you, I should have patterns. You know, I think most patterns work on daily, and they just intraday.
Yeah, I think Andy dropped out on us one more time. But yeah, intraday, I think what he was going to say, there's a lot of noise.
I just don't find a whole lot of, you know, pattern recognition. You know, maybe a bull flag. Mm-hmm. Yep, you're right, Jamie. All right, I'm going to bring Scott in here, and he can walk us out before I crash.
All right, thank you for bearing with us and Andy's internet woes. Hopefully his internet gets sorted out sometime soon. Thanks everyone for joining us. If you could go ahead and put up the slideshow and show the daily live classes slide. Yeah, we've got, if you have any questions, just join us tomorrow at noon Eastern. Trade-ideas.com/live. It's every weekday at noon Eastern. You can go ahead and log into that. You don't even have to log in. It's just our YouTube channel. It's a live stream, and the questions are open. So show up, ask questions, and learn. We've got a great ebook for earnings season, which is approaching, or I think might already be in it. But go to trade-ideas.com/earnings and get some great strategies to help you take advantage of earnings season. There's even some cloud links that you can just import into your layout and try those out. But do read the book first before you use them. It's pretty informative. There's a podcast, search for Trade Ideas Podcast wherever you listen to your pods. We've had a pretty good series of interviews this year, hosted by Sean McLaughlin, that we put up the next one if you subscribe. So as soon as we send the next one out, you'll get it. The code summertime is good for 15% off the first month or year of any subscription or upgrade. So if you want to upgrade from standard to premium, or you feel like starting your subscription today, just go ahead and grab that code and use it on the checkout page. You can follow Steve Gomez at QuantBot. Jamie Hodges at QuantBot. I'm sorry. Steve Gomez is the @Today Trader. Also got @Trade Ideas. Those are our Facebook primary handles. Our Twitter primary handles. Facebook is Trade Ideas Pro. Follow that and share everything we post on the Facebook channel with your friends. And any questions, email us, info@trade-ideas.com. Goes into our help desk, gets you the fastest help. That's really the best place to send any question. So thanks. If you missed anything or whatever, the replay of the webinar, the video replay, will be available on our YouTube channel tomorrow. You're going to get an email reminder from GoToWebinar with a link to where you can find that replay. So stay tuned for that tomorrow. And thanks, Jamie. Thank you, Andy. And thanks, friends. Have a good one. See you next week.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks for bearing with me.
Yep, we'll see you guys tomorrow.